There are hundreds of different Pokemon, several of which are popular fan favourites such as Tyranitar, Charizard and Gyarados. But at the same time there are many Pokemon that are just obscure, underused and severely underpowered compared to the others. Many Pokemon such as Magcargo, Seaking and Sunflora. Most people never even use these underpowered Pokemon in their playthroughs, as why would they? They're simply outclassed. But are these bad Pokemon such as Dustox and Lunatone even that bad? And can they be good?
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba.
Well, the ROM hack Pokemon Emerald TRASHLOCKE has the answer. This game for the most part is just a standard Pokemon Emerald, with the national decks included and a few other minor changes. But the largest difference and biggest gimmick of the game is that you can only catch Pokemon that are considered to be trash. You are unable to encounter any conventionally viable Pokemon anywhere, and are forced to use obscure Pokemon such as Noctowl and Corsola.
You are all talk and no action. A true piece of trash.
Your starters have been switched out to Sunkern, Goldeen and Slugma, which most people would never even think to use in their playthroughs. The rest of the game will be using their normal teams in the base Emerald, but you're stuck with this trash. In today's video I'll be seeing if I can Nuzlocke this game with these Trashmon and see if they too can be viable in the late game. I'll be using all my advanced Nuzlocke rules to make this challenge extra hard, such as set mode only and no items in battle. But for this challenge I will also limit my grinding. I'm not allowed to significantly overlevel the next gym leader. A couple levels over is maybe acceptable. Though I won't be using the extreme level caps for this challenge, as trust me, not overleveling all the gym leaders is way too RNG dependent, especially in the early game. And this is a blind run after all. Still, this restriction will make the challenge very hard, as I'll automatically be very outmatched. My skills will be pushed to the limit, but can I beat Emerald TRASHLOCKE with these rules? And can the trash prove its worth? Well, there's only one way to find out. So I started the game and the opening sequence is pretty funny. You know this game's going to be interesting when the professor whaps out an unknown. Though I will say later on in this run that many of the Pokemon you encounter really aren't even that bad, I would say. If anything, they're actually pretty strong in single player and are totally usable, but I guess their usage is debatable. But anyways, the game is the same as always, so I quickly just skip to get my starter. I picked Goldeen as it's my favourite of the three, but as you'll see the starters are all really bad in this game. I go straight to May, and as the rest of the game is exactly the same as a vanilla Emerald, she has a Trico as usual, but my Goldeen has Peck, so it just beats it easily. Okay, now I've got some Pokeballs. I can start the Nuzlocke for real this time. This is actually pretty exciting. It reminds me of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Sneak peek event where you have no idea what random jack you're going to pull, but let's find out. I get an Adamant Nature Sentret. Well, at least it's got a good nature, and a rash nature Rattata, which could be better. And annoyingly I get a critical hit on this Hoothoot and beat it. One broken strategy you can use is to catch a Zigzagoon, as late game it gets Belly Drum, which is incredibly broken in this game. Anyone who's seen my old Emerald video will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But unfortunately I don't catch one anyways. I train up a bit, then after Petalburg City I encounter a Poochyena, which you will need for the first gym, which I will get to shortly. This Pokemon is very important. Then after that in Petalburg Forest I catch a Spinarak. Now I've got to grind again, and this was really awkward to do. These Pokemon are just bad, not just because of their base stats are lacking, but also because they've got awful move pools. Spinarak's best stab move I think is flipping Poison Sting, and my Chena got really screwed over by the physical special split with its 60 base special attack, and don't even get me started on my starter Goldeen. But now I've got to start preparing for the first gym. I catch a Ditto, which is potentially useful. I guess if my Pokemon are really bad, I could always just transform into a better one. The last Pokemon I get before the first gym is Igglybuff, which is not very helpful. If it can evolve then maybe. So what I do is I get the whole team to level 15 to match the first gym leader's strongest Pokemon. But then I realise that my team just isn't going to cut it for the first gym. This looks easy to do, until you realise that Goldeen doesn't actually have any water moves yet. What the hell? I have to wait till I get HM Surf. Oh man. Poochyena's Bite is the only not resisted move I have to use against Roxanne. This is bad. And because of this I get the whole team to level 17 just to be safe. Yes, it is possible to beat this game using extreme Nuzlocke rules, but it becomes totally RNG dependent, as it depends completely on what Pokemon you encounter early game. If you've only caught normal types, then you're basically screwed for an extreme Nuzlocke against Roxanne. So this time I have to over level, but only slightly. I will say that this run gets easier as it goes on, as you get way more trash mons to choose from to build your team properly. But anyways, I challenged Roxanne, and I have to lead off with Poochyena. This was tense, but Poochyena started off well by two-shotting both of her Geodudes. It's got an adamant nature, which is unfortunate, but the Snow's Pass was a big threat, as it's just too bulky. My strategy is to switch in Goldeen to confuse it with Supersonic, then try to get lucky with Poochyena, as the AI can be really bad in this game and often wastes turns. This does not work as well as I would have liked, as Nosepass uses Block to prevent switching, then manages to beat my Poochyena. At least it did its job well enough. Thankfully Furret was just able to finish off Nosepass, but losing Poochyena was really annoying. But now after this, my team's actually pretty strong, as Furret is fully evolved and is a decent level. I challenge me again, but Spinarak completely counters her Trico. On Dewford Island I fish up a Love Disc, and it turns out that Love Disc is the only Pokemon you can fish with an Old Rod. That's pretty inconvenient. Then in Dewford Cave I catch a Paris, which does have some uses as Spore is really strong. But I am pretty scared of the second gym leader, as I've got a few normal types in my team and my bug types aren't great yet. So what I do is I get the EXP share first, then I go straight to Slateport City first to train and catch some more Pokemon. I get a Meowth, which is okay I guess, but not too helpful against the second gym leader. I do beat down May again, though I almost lost my Spinarak as this Grovyle used Pursuit and left it with 3 HP, which was really close. Well, at least it wasn't a critical hit this time. But my Raticate is really strong now and beats it easily. Now I return to Brawly's gym at level 20, which is only 1 level higher than his ace. My team doesn't have the best matchup here. Goldeen does have Peck, but still no water moves, which is really annoying. But then again, it does have a special attack lowering nature, so its special attack isn't even that good anyways. I challenged Brawly, but this was also a little bit tense, but not too hard this time. Spinarak spams Nightshade and beats his first 2 Pokemon, but Magihita was tough, as it was able to keep on healing itself and was almost able to KO Spinarak, despite being resisted 4 times. That was close, but because it set up Bulk Up, I'm now scared of it. But I did get pretty lucky as I switched with my Paris, I got the Effect Spore hacks and put it to sleep, which was really lucky, which gave Goldeen just enough time to KO it with Peck. That could have been much dicier, but this time I got some luck on my side. It feels good for once, but now it's already time to prepare for the third gym leader, and this one looks even harder, as he's got a Magneton on his team, which I've got no counter for at all. I've got little choice but to gain a few levels just to be safe, as also my team isn't even that bulky and can't even take strong electric type attacks. But Spinarak evolves, then I catch a Butterfree, which isn't very useful right now. Then I train up. Pro tip: evolve Paris to level 25 so it can learn Spore earlier, then evolve it. Also, the casino is locked off, which is not nice as I can't get those really good TMs. But I grinded a lot here, all the way to level 28. To be honest, I was overly paranoid of the next gym, as this did end up being too much grinding. It was an error of judgment on my part, but from now on I will be limiting my grinding to make the rest of the game harder. The third gym leader ends up being a complete breeze, as, guess what? Raticate just ends up completely sweeping. That was really surprising. Hell, it even two-shotted the Magneton, and it used its Guts ability to beat Manectric as its attack became even higher. I could have grinded a lot less for this, but oh well, it's done now. Because of this, most of the trainers now are surprisingly easy, and I do catch some more Pokemon which are actually surprisingly good. Spoink is actually pretty good. Unfortunately it didn't have the Thick Fat ability, and it did have a bad nature, but it's still deceptively good as a Pokemon. This Ponyta is actually not a bad late game, when it learns Fire Blast, but until then, it's not that good. The Sableye I caught is actually really nice, as it's got good typing and can abuse some hacks. But now I challenge Maxie, and this was really easy. Barely even worth showing actually. Man, Base Emerald is such a far cry from harder ROM hacks that I usually play. Anyways, I catch his cast form for my encounter, which is an interesting catch, and now I'll prepare for another gym battle. At first, I was really scared of Flannery's Torkoal, as my team can't handle it very well, and Love Disc and Goldeen suck. but then I realised it had a cast form which had Rain Dance and Weather Ball, which is actually really strong. So I used this and it turns out that it sweeps Flannery's team like nothing. The extra 2 levels of my cast form didn't even matter, which was really anticlimactic. It's cool how I had to think outside the box to come up with an obscure strategy for an obscure Pokemon that hardly anyone uses, but it's funny. Now I can head straight to the 5th gym leader. In the Mirage Tower I catch a... What? This is considered trash? Blasphemy. To be honest, its move pool is really bad, and the only good move it can use is Ancient Power, which it learns at level 55, if it doesn't evolve. Oh well, maybe at the Pokemon League at the end of the game I'll use this, but for now, not really. Jesus, I almost lost my Spoink. However, at this gym, tragedy struck, as the Swellow was too threatening. I had no choice but to sacrifice one of my team members to switch in safely, and I'm sorry Igglypuff, you're the weakest link. It never even got to evolve, which is sad. No joke, I almost lost to that Swellow, but after that there was some very good news. While backtracking I ran into a shiny Poochyena, which I was so happy about, so I caught this because of the shiny claws and I trained it up, as Intimidate is a really useful ability. It also has a quiet nature which is actually pretty good. I do train up my Ditto just in case, and after that I challenge the 5th gym leader without over leveling this time. The battle is easy if you know how to counter the gym leader's strategy. Parasect puts in work by spamming Spore and Leech Life. It luckily paralyzes his Vigoroth with Effect Spore, so Sableye can finish it off. Turns out he's got almost nothing to handle ghost types, as technically in base Emerald you're not supposed to have ghost types at this point in the game. But in comes Slacking, and oh god, it one-shotted my Ditto. Drats. But after that I take it out easily, as you can easily play around its Truant ability and stall it out with my Chena and Sableye. The Slineon scared me as it went for Belly Drum, which is super strong, but Sableye just beat it down before it did anything. Apart from losing Ditto, this was a pretty smooth battle. Thankfully I now have access to HM Surf and can catch many new water types, and oh boy, in the next couple of routes on the way to the 6th gym leader, I get some surprisingly good Pokemon which aren't even that trash to begin with. I get a Marill with huge power, Spoink evolves and is now strong. I do get Quillfish, but it's actually pretty bad in this game. I do catch a Remoraid with a special attack boosting nature, which is very strong. Octillery learns ice moves, which is very important as in this game TMs are very limited. Then I catch a Voltorb, which also has a good nature. Man, these are actually some pretty good Pokemon. I train them up and make way in my team for them. Unfortunately, Parasect's typing just isn't good enough, so I add an Electrode and Octillery to my team, and now my team's looking pretty strong. So much for trash Pokemon, I guess. After clearing the Weather Institute, I get given an Unknown. That's really not helpful. I've already got one in my PC anyways. I had to battle May again afterwards. Her Slugma went down easily, but I was really worried against this Grovyle. I genuinely thought it would KO my Raticate, as it was in overgrow range with Leaf Blade, and my Raticate had a special defense lowering nature. But surprisingly it hung on barely and finished off her team. I do catch this Minun afterwards, which is okay, but I prefer Electrode. Then this Kecleon, which is usually here, got replaced by another Unknown. Begone. However, right before the next gym battle, a tragedy happened. This Manectric was a huge threat, as it spammed Thunder in the Permanent Rain, which was a huge pain. At this point, I've got no choice but to sacrifice a trash mon from my team. And, I'm sorry my Chena, but you have to go. This was not an easy choice, but I needed the free switch to finish off this Manectric. Begone. I replace it with a Azumarill, then prepare for the 6th gym battle. My team's looking pretty strong now, and thankfully this battle was a cakewalk, as Electrode can wreck her team. Her Altaria is a threat, but what I do is I switch in Octillery, which is so useful as it's got an ice move. Altaria spamming Dragon Dance was really dumb, but yeah, after that, the rest of her team gets swept under the rug. I catch some more stuff, then go straight to the next battle against me, which wasn't too difficult as I get Confusion Hacks in the Grovyle. To be honest, I am getting a little bit bored of this game now, as it is just vanilla Emerald at this point. I'm so used to playing altered ROM hacks, but I carry on regardless. I do catch this Flareon in the Safari Zone, which I know sounds really nice, until you realise that it's got no good physical moves at all, and it's pretty much pointless now as from here on there will be loads of water types coming up. The second Maxi boss fight was easy, as Camerupt has trash defensive typing. So I just go straight to the 7th gym. Be gone, Wobbuffet, with your stupid shadow tag shenanigans. At this point I was just rushing through this Nuzlocke run, but I get the whole team up to level 42 for this fight against the next gym leaders. Though to my surprise, this was actually very close. I almost lost here as I was not prepared for this fight. I was actually really lazy and I had a really bad matchup here. Octillery strong but can't take another hit. Sableye and Azumarill are taking a beating and can't damage the opponents too much, and when Grumpig comes in, I'm now in a really bad spot. I thought this was the end, but somehow I managed to make it through this fight. Luckily the Solrock doesn't really do much as its AI is awful, and the fight does get easier once Claydol goes down, as Grumpig manages to confuse Lunatone and Solrock, and somehow they keep on hitting themselves in confusion, giving me just enough time to finish them off. This was so clutch as my whole team was barely hanging on, but I somehow managed to win with no casualties. I really should have prepared more, that was my bad. The Team Magma double battle afterwards was also really close. It started off easy, but Octillery almost died and I was just able to beat this Camerupt. If the AI was more competent, I probably would have lost here, but oh well. Unfortunately, Raticate had to go. Once again I was forced to choose which of my teammates had to die, which is just messed up for a trainer to have to do. But wait, there's more. I was really pissed when my Electrode died in the Aqua hideout. Just as it took out Sharpedo, the Rough Skin activated and managed to finish off my Electrode. I needed this Electrode for the water types I'll be facing, but alas. It's gone now, and I've got to deal with it. At least Archie wasn't too hard to deal with. Now I finish off this dumb plot nonsense which I don't care about. Then I proceed to prepare for the final gym battle. Losing Electrode was really bad, but I do use Minun and Castform as replacements. After a lot of grinding, the whole squad is at level 46 and I go to take on the last gym badge, so I can make my way to the Pokemon League. I do have a decent matchup here. The battle starts off easily enough as Minun just one-shots a Love Disc. Wishcash is a threat, so I switch an Octillery to beat it, but it was still scary and the critical hit could have wrecked me, but Wishcash still goes down. Then against Celio, I switch in Grumpig, and what I do is I just try to set up with Calm Mind to sweep the rest of his team, as Grumpig can be quite tanky once it sets up. However, this went wrong as it got hit by a critical hit and I got paralysed as I got too greedy and set up too much. Then I realised anyways that Joanne had a Crawdon on his team, so this was actually pointless this whole time. That was really dumb of me, so I switch in Minun that just destroys Crawdon and Celio, leaving only the last Pokemon Kingdra. Now I've just got to beat this and then I'm done. Though Kingdra does look strong, it is 6 vs 1. I set up Light Screen to protect my team, and it goes for a double team? I don't like where this is going. I switch in Sableye to try and hacks it and oh god, it goes for another double team. Oh god, it got the freeze hacks, what the hell, it's at max evasion now. I can't even hit it. And it has rest to heal itself up. I can't even touch this thing. I'm screwed. This is such rubbish. I did realise, a bit too late though, that I can use my Castform to hit it at max evasion, as I can use Rain Dance, which makes Thunder not check accuracy. But guess what? The first Water Pulse confuses my Castform and makes it hit itself, completely stopping the strategy from working, leaving the rest of my team defenceless. Well, I guess I'm dead now. The Nuzlocke is over. Of all the ways I've died in the Nuzlocke, this is one of the trolliest ways ever, swept by a Kingdra that's still at full health. But what can I say? Double Team is broken. That concludes the Nuzlocke. In conclusion, Pokemon Emerald TRASHLOCKE is an interesting game to play, as it's the vanilla Emerald, but it gives you a fresh new way to play the game by forcing you to use Pokemon which you would otherwise never use. It's pretty fun, though it can be really frustrating how your strategy is very limited as the Trashmons and move pools are so bad. They have no good moves to take advantage of, limiting the use of strategy, which is completely different from Renegade Platinum. But if you want a new kind of challenge, then I recommend you give this ROM hack a shot. But this concludes the video. Stay tuned for my next video, which will most likely be on either Pokemon Liquid Crystal or Pokemon Shiny Gold X, which are both Johto region ROM hacks. But until then, I will see you all next time. This is Ding Dong signing out.